Hi guys, so I posted my grungy journal yesterday and I got quite a few requests about the rusty coffee dyed paper. So here I am on my bedroom floor. What you're going to need, so that you can pause if you like, is just some coffee. I filled the jar up to about there with water because I split it into a spray bottle. So I've got a spray bottle with some coffee in it. I've got some loose coffee in a jar. You'll also need some rusty water prepared earlier, so you might have to come back and watch this if you haven't already made some. I just put a couple of rusty items that my dad got me in a jar with some water and a little bit of vinegar. I don't think there's any scientific measurement to make stuff rust. I have two different brushes for the splattering, because if you get coffee and rust on the brush, it's going to go black and it's going to turn your coffee black. So try to keep those separate in the two different jars. I have a whole variety of papers. So I've got just some Timu papers because I want some interest on the back. I got a whole lot of digital papers that I've ripped around the edges, so I chose to weave those edges because why not? Waste not, want not. I have some doilies. I have more than that, but they're around here somewhere. And just a whole variety, encyclopedia paper, old vintage pattern paper, art sketchbook paper, some music paper. What else have I got? Because I'm just going to absolutely go for it, because these always come in handy for a stash, so you may as well do a whole lot at once. Some notebook ledger paper, some handwritten vintage doctor's notes, piece of lined paper, some book pages. There you go, some more doilies, a couple more sheets of music paper because they always come in different thicknesses. So lots and lots and lots of papers. And then I just have an entire variety of stencils, some small, some long, some floral, and quite a few flourish kind of looking ones as well, and I just honestly chuck those on at random, and we are just going to make heaps. And the reason why I do so many different papers is because they all come out so differently from each other. These digital papers, by the way, are laser printed, so while they've got nothing on the back, they will withstand the water and the ink won't run. But rather than printing two sides digital, I thought I could have one printed and one with the rust and coffee stain on the other side. When I did this the first time, the papers that I was laying out and I did my first layer on, I hadn't thought, well, I did think that it was going to soak right through the paper and give some colour to the back as well, but they all ended up absolutely plain. So that's why my first layer that I'm going to put down is going to be these guys, and I will put them up that way so that if I don't get any colour on there, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'll just get sorted. Okay, so we will start with the digital papers, and like I said, some of these you won't maybe be able to see on camera because they'll be slightly off, but you'll get the general gist of what I'm doing. I don't really put them up any specific direction, and I do about that many at a time. And you'll notice as I get different sizes of paper, some will overlap, some won't, and I'm fine with the random reaction I get from that. So I'm just going to give everything a bit of a spray, not completely covered. Now you will see where the rust is on its own, it will turn a beautiful copper colour. where it mixes with the coffee, as you can see, it's already turning black. Now I cannot take credit for this. This is just my version of, I saw Louise Heinzel doing this. Obviously we all do things a little bit different from each other, so mine's probably quite different than hers is. But I will post her link to that video in the bottom as well, so that you can watch that one as well. Okay, so I might chuck a couple of stencils on, just at random. Get a little bit more rust. Make sure I've got some on the stencils as well, because the next layer I put down is going to rest on those stencils, so it should create some pattern on the back of the next layer of papers. And there is no controlling this. It's honestly completely random what you get. So just have fun and go with it. And the ones that come out beautifully, use them as your pages. And then the ones that don't, you can always use them as bits that you rip up for the clusters and things, because there might be a little part on there that you like. That's my son. Hang on, I'll just shut the door. Murphy's Law. You don't put your sign up and that you're filming and everyone comes through, and you don't put your sign up and nobody comes through. So this layer I'm just going to put a little bit more on, because I want a layer that's going to have quite a lot of effect. And on some of them, just be careful when you do it this way round, because you are getting some of the coffee onto your paintbrush, so that could potentially turn the liquid on the paintbrush black. Love it how some people are really good at multitasking, but me, when I'm trying to think and do this at the same time, my explanations go right out the window. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that, so let's chuck that on there. Don't know what's going to happen to the washi tape either, so that's just a complete experiment. We'll see what happens. Maybe a couple more stencils. This one's really pretty. It's really lace-like. And this one I might just put some rust on first on the stenciling, because if I put that through there, what is under the stencil, or gets under the stencil, might stay rusty, and then what is on top of the stencil or in the holes of the stencil should catch the black from the coffee when I spray that over. So as you can see, there is no method to my madness. I'm just completely winging it, which is, like I say, part of the fun. See, I'm already dying to know what that's going to come out like there, because I can see all the stenciling coming through that doily already. Okay, and then when hopefully that will cause a reaction. That'll be interesting. That piece there is a 1700s piece of book paper. Another experiment to see if it holds up. You never know. Might completely fall apart. And you will see after this, I do like to get the hairdryer on it. That's how I got some of my lovely runs, because I forced the excess water to run off the page. Another happy accident, if I'm honest, because I was just trying to dry it faster because I was impatient. But they were actually really, really pretty. So I am going to replicate and do that again. Wonder someone might be able to tell me what the reaction is between the coffee and the rust that turns it black, because I don't know. Oh, and I rust dyed some crochet lace, and then I splattered the coffee on it after I'd already put it through the rust. I do not recommend that. It came out looking like it was just mouldy paper. It was growing mould onto the fabric. So that's just my opinion. You might want mouldy looking fabric. I, however, did not like the way that looked. Kind of like if you've watched my other process of dyeing. A snail trail. Snail was having a party when I used the string on the hand dyeing paper video that I did as well. I didn't appreciate how that came out, but if we don't experiment, we're not going to get anything different, are we? So, and I don't worry about which way the stencils are facing, even if they are like they do have a direction, because at the end of the day you might just decide to use part of these, you might decide to use the whole thing. If the direction of the stencils bothers you, then yeah, you could always just use that to rip it up and not use it as a full book page. You might use it for a pocket or some other embellishments, a little piece for a cluster, just to add some interest. Well, we are slowly getting to the bottom of my paper pile. Slowly. It is a shame that this does not fit in the oven. I don't know if any of you have a really big oven, but I certainly do not have an oven that fits this, which is why I got impatient and started drying it with a hairdryer. Like I say, a happy accident, and got those beautiful drips, which I'll probably do off camera. So I will just grab my hairdryer in a second and show you what I mean by that as well. So you've got to have a reasonable amount of water on there. I'm really hoping that my hairdryer is going to reach. It's not too bad. So if you... Hi, I'm not even sure where that last video cut off, so obviously I can't redo this. Hopefully we've got enough footage of where I got up to so that we can at least have a good idea of how to do this, and I will go off camera in a second and I will get all of this dry, some with the hairdryer, and then once I feel like I've got it dry enough so that all the water isn't just going to run off in different directions, then I will pop bits and pieces in the oven, and I will pop back and show you guys the results of the paper. I do often like to just gently tap the trigger. It gives me bigger blobs of coffee, which is why I haven't really needed to use the other jar of coffee that I've got at the moment. And we should hopefully get some really pretty results. Right, so that's how I did it, and I shall be back when I've dried it, and hopefully in this same video, magic of YouTube, it will flick through right now. Okay, and we're back, and here is all the beautiful paper. So I will flick through all of them for you because they are all so different. Okay, so you could fast forward this if you just want to see a really quick. Love how that one came out with the white, and I mean every page is different as well, so you've got to choose what side you want to use if you're not going to use them as a full page. Like I said, completely random. There is no controlling this result that you get. But I think they are all equally as beautiful as each other. So that's that Doctor's. I really like how that came out. Doily. That's the ledger paper. That's the handwritten paper and the red ran. Didn't know that was going to happen. And then I would just separate these out into the ones that I would like to use on their own as pages, and then the ones that I am not that fussed on. This is the encyclopedia paper, and I just love the way that sounds now that it's been wet and dried. So yeah, just fold the ones in half that I want to use as pages in the journal. This one's beautiful. Love that one. See, that would definitely be a page I would use, whereas this one I might be more inclined to use that for a pocket. This is beautiful too, with all this detail in here. Just really pretty. See what I mean? I couldn't just show you a couple because they're all so differently beautiful and unique. This one I think is my favourite. Look at that. See that? I don't think I'll put in a journal, but then again, if it was the background for something, could be alright. Another piece of the doctor's journal paper. Don't really like how that came out. It just completely darkened the whole picture. Do like how the weaving came out. I think that's quite cool. This is pretty. That's that really cool stencil. But I wanted to know how it came out. But you've just got a whole stack of papers now that are absolutely, completely unique. They're not digital. Nobody will ever be able to replicate them ever again the same, because it's such a random process. And look how many I've made in the matter of, what, an hour and a half from beginning to drying. Don't worry, we're almost through now. That one came out really neat. I really like how that came out too. And you will notice that as they dry, the rust, the copper colour, really intensifies. This is another one of my favourites. Look at how those came out. And that was just the art diary. And then the back's absolutely, completely different. So I hope that helped you, inspired you to give that a try. Really easy process. Thank you to Louise Heinzel for doing her tutorial that gave me the idea. I don't think she uses stencils in hers, but I'm not completely sure. So I guess this is a little bit different, and her stacking process and everything. So do check her out, because her papers I think came out different to mine as well. And yeah, let me know in the comments if that was what you wanted and if it was helpful, and if you're going to give it a try. As always, love you guys, and thank you for all your support. Okay, bye.